Will Bazball survive the Aussie attack?
I'm going to say no. It might work for one test early, but then I reckon it's going to blow up.
Steve Smith is the absolute game breaker.
I'd rather be in Australia's shoes, the better preparation.
Going to play a footy game. I want to warm up as least as possible because I want to save my energy to the game. Like
the sell, look, I'm going to be Root gets the boot is the headline here. Bucket lists is, well, for me at least, because I haven't done it yet, is to be obviously at a Boxing Day test at the MCG.
Hello and welcome back to Ahead of the Game Sports Chat with Sports Pez Jez over in the far side, Tuck Sports Takes, and of course, Adam Cusworth joining us once again from bets.com.au. Boys, it's cricket time. The Ashes are right around the corner. How exciting, Adam, for this one.
Oh, I cannot wait. Christmas Day is coming. It's fast approaching, day one of the Ashes, and then we roll all around the country. Boxing Day is going to be a big highlight for me, and can't quick enough.
And Jez, the cricket feeling, mate, is it grabbing you by the balls?
Absolutely. It's like the Ashes, there's been so much talk. It feels like they should have already been done by now because the smack talk and everything's been happening for a really long time, but it's finally here coming on Friday for the opener. And I don't know, finally be able to just stop all the bullshit pom talk and put them in their place.
Well, we was talking just a little bit quickly before jumping on here about the first test and whether it's maybe England's best chance to get a win. We're going to dive into it a little bit later in the ep. We're going to talk about Bazball a little bit, the best test venue to look at, or the best Ashes venue. And I see you guys focused a little bit on Australia, but I want to chuck in a possible venue in the UK as well, which might throw a spanner in the works. But we will get into some quick fire bold tips, boys. And before I throw to each of you on this, I just want to kind of preface a little bit. While I was researching for this series, there's some outstanding stats and some trends that are going to either be broken or something's going to be broken. And we said we're going to talk about Bazball. Since this new era of English cricket, Adam, England are 5 from 5 in overseas first tests. They were 13 and 30 in the 40 years or 43 years prior to that. Can you just give me a bit of insight as to what this means for England in this new era of Test cricket for them?
Yeah, it's huge. It's their first Bazball series in Australia, so it's probably it's a defining moment, I reckon. Can they do it on Aussie soil? They've been smashed the last 3 series. They've lost 13 out of 15. Interesting heading in. A lot of the talk has been about England's poor preparation. They've only had 1 hit out, but you're right. They've done the same the last 5 series, and they've come out and won that first test. So it'll be interesting, and I reckon it is their best chance to the first test. But see how we go.
All right. We've got 3 bold predictions. Going to hit which player scores the most runs in the series, what the biggest upset or twist we might see, and the big one, whether Bazball will survive the Aussie attack. I'm going to put 30 seconds up on the screen for you, Adam, to start with for which player scores the most runs in the series. Time starts now.
I'm going to go Steve Smith, a throwback to his 2019 series. It was unbelievable. He did it all. He had a bit of a point to prove after the whole sandpaper scandal. And when he's been captain, his average is a lot better compared to when he hasn't been captain. Cummins is out. I reckon he's going to come out firing. Plays well against England. He's in red-hot form in the Sheffield Shield lead-up matches. I think England worry about him a little bit. So if he can get off to a good start in that first test, it's on. Steve Smith, most runs.
Yeah, phenomenal Ashes series in 2019, 774 runs, an average of 110, and he missed 2 or 3 innings.
Yeah, he missed. He subbed out halfway through one of them. That's when Marnus came in and made a name for himself, and then he got hit in the head by Archer. He might have missed the test after. So
yeah,
1.5 tests he missed. Yeah.
All
I
right.
think they
Your
go
biggest
after his head
upset.
already in the first test as well.
I reckon there's some
Wouldn't
short balls coming, which I reckon will suit the Aussies, to be honest. So I'll handle it well.
Yeah.
Biggest upset or twist, Adam? Time starts now.
Yeah, I'm going to go twist. One of Australia's non-regular bowlers is going to come in and take a fifer in their first innings, and possibly Michael Ness. I reckon he's criminally underrated, but I'm going to go with Doggett. Looks set to make his debut in the first test. England get a bit troubled when they play against players that haven't been exposed to before. Scott Boland did it in the last series, 6 for 7. I think there was Jackson Bird like about 10 years ago. There's been a few others. Michael Nessa himself. He's got that sort of skiddy bounce and he moves it around a bit, which I don't think they're going to like. So that's the twist, the debutant getting fifer.
That would be so good, just to really rub it into him.
Jackson Bird. I haven't heard Jackson Bird's name in a long time. Pulled that out of the bag.
One of the great names lurking somewhere. I think he did. He might have at the MCG against England, and maybe even Brett Lee a long time ago as well. They used to Cummins, Hazelwood, and Stark, and those injuries could possibly work to advantage. Those Cummins and Hazelwood hopefully come in a bit fresh, can last, third, fourth, and fifth matches. So we'll see what happens.
And the final one, Adam, will Bazball survive the Aussie attack?
I'm going to say no. It might work for one test early, but then I reckon it's going to blow up. But Perth is the first test, and Brisbane, and there's plenty of movement and bounce. The Brisbane test is the pink ball test under lights. Other thing too, players like Brook love to sort of hit on the up, bit risky in Australia. Bigger grounds as well, so they're probably not going to get value for some of those big shots, those pull shots, the hook shots. They could be getting caught out in the deep. So, yeah, I reckon no, they're not going to handle it, Bazball.
I love it. I love to hear this stuff, boys. It's fantastic. Jez, I hope you're going to give us not the same, but similar vibe to what Adam was giving in the
absolutely all the vibes are hating the Poms. So I think we're pretty good there. We got good vibes for the Aussies. But tough. Adam's a smart guy. He knows his stuff. Not saying that I know my stuff, but he's definitely hit the mark with a lot of those. Anyway, let's go. Let's get into it.
All right. You give us the player for the most runs in this Ashes series. Go for it.
Look, I'm 100% on the same ball as Adam and saying Steve Smith is the absolute game breaker. He loves playing against England, like we've said. But I'm going to throw a little spanner in and say maybe Travis Head. Look, he doesn't play very well against England, doesn't have a great history against the Poms, and is out of form. If Travis Head can be out of form. But I think he's just going to, quietly come in and have one of those massive knocks or have a couple of big innings and maybe steal the most runs of the series.
Love it. Both you boys back in the Aussies to take the biggest number.
Yeah, I think if you have to pick England, my money would probably be on Ollie Pope, I think. I think he's the biggest danger when it comes to when it comes to England. Coming in at 3, he's in pretty good form. So but no one's going to score more runs than the Australians anyway. So,
your biggest upset or twist that you're looking forward to here, Jez?
I guess maybe not upset or even twist, but probably something that's a little bit unexpected coming into the series or that's been a bit grey is the opening partnership of Australia. I think Weatherall coming in as a little bit of a late bloomer. I think he's 31 years old. He's just going to come in with a calmness about him, which he has done, debut, and just be a stable opener, which is what Australia's missed. We've been lose early wickets, maybe put a little bit too much pressure on the middle order, but he maybe not have an amazing series and top score, but be a stable mind with Khawaja, and our opening problems will be over after this series.
All right. And the final one, Jez, Bazball, will it survive? Is it all or nothing for the Poms this time in Oz?
Yeah, 100% Bazball will not survive the test of Australia. Look, I put it all down to look, they're going to go after guys like Doggett and Nessa, and I think that's going to be to their detriment. I think they're going to go out hungry, and like you said, the bigger grounds are going to play their role in this, and a couple of miscues are going to see them lose early wickets and put too much pressure on them. And it's almost Bazball's been fading out a little bit at the moment anyway. They've been trying to slow down, and they're going to need to do that if they want to be any chance of beating Australia.
Hey, cut that out and put it in your highlights reel, please.
Bang.
That was beautiful.
Bang.
Boys, let's move it along. The calm before the storm. Adam, you spoke a little bit about the team preparation for both of these, but let's look at England first. As you said, they haven't had a proper hit out coming into this test in Australia, but they haven't done it so in the last couple of series they've played either, and have been quite successful. Australia, in a similar kind of aspect, injuries clouding their preparation, some new players coming into the squad. How do you look at the preparation of these two teams and what it might mean to come into an important series like this Ashes one in 2025 in Australia?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you in about a week or two who's had the perfect preparation. It's a tough one. A lot of people are saying that England's preparation's been terrible. I do keep thinking about, those past 5 away series where they've won the first test. But look, that one little hit out against, it was like an intra-club match against the British Lions, their second side at Lilac Hill. Whereas the Aussies have had those, most of them have had 4 Sheffield Shield games or international one days or T20. They've had that sort of high pressure sort of hit outs as well. Probably the thing, Australian conditions, they are a little bit different. You've got the heat. It's 35 degrees in Perth today. I think it's dropping down to like late 20s. There's a lot different. There's the lights different. You got the Fremantle doctor coming in. Haven't really had that much exposure, and I think only 5 of their players have played in Australia before. So I am probably leaning a little bit towards the camp that are saying that their preparation's been, a bit sort of substandard with that one match. It could come back to bite them. But Australia haven't really nailed it either. They've got their injuries that have popped up with Hazelwood and Cummins. They'll definitely be missed. I think they probably had I'd rather be in Australia's shoes, the better preparation. But I don't think they've nailed it either. I guess the one thing with the Aussies is with those injuries, they've got some unbelievable backup bowlers that would be getting games in pretty much any test nation in the world. So these guys are ready to go. So Nessa and Doggett. Got guys like Bartlett, Jai Richardson, Fergus O'Neill probably won't get a test for another year or two. He's averaging like in the 20s, low 20s for Sheffield Shield. So I think, Australia just with their preparation, but hard to tell. Need a bit of a crystal ball. We'll see what happens in the first couple of tests. But I reckon, Aussies definitely though.
Jez, from your sports background, preparation, if I'm going to play a footy game, I want to warm up as least as possible because I want to save my energy to the game. I'm going to go out, touch the grass a little bit, maybe do those little bit of hip wiggles, and then I'm like, let's get ready to play. I can run on 5 minutes before, and that's my warm up. And you can see
that's why you're a podcaster and not a professional sportsman, mate.
You can see from England's previous record over the last 40 years before this kind of the era of Bazball, McCollum, and what can you take from that? So they've been there and they've done this exorbitant kind of preparation, playing warm-up games, and they just keep losing. Is preparation in the kind of historical term important in today's cricket, or is it more the mental preparation, which obviously they've been doing?
Obviously they're doing something under McCollum that's worked. So why would you break it when you're just coming to Australia? Why should Australia be any different to any of the other away series that they've had? But at the same time, like Adam brought it up, they've got so much inexperience, especially on the bowling front and with their seamers, and then coming to Australia and playing in the Australian conditions. That's what makes me a little bit, happy that they haven't had a proper warm-up or a proper hit out, because they can certainly struggle, and it's the the size of what an Ashes series is and the amount of media, like I said at the start, like there's been so much media around it. I think for me, and I would want to have a couple of hit outs, like have a few sort of innings under the belt in Australia to get a feel of the conditions and see what all the talk is about, because all of a sudden they're going to go into Perth. And obviously if they have a really strong and positive start, you could build off that confidence. But if something goes bad and they're struggling to get out the openers for the bowlers or something like that, I think it can just completely fall apart from England, because you don't know how to adjust. You're under a lot of pressure. You're in the limelight. So I don't know. It's a good thing for Australia, I think, that they haven't done it. And obviously, they're what did you say, 5-0 in opening tests. Trends are made to be broken, my friend, and that could certainly be one that is broken because of the poor preparation.
Jez, while I got you online here, buy or sell? We got a host of new players from England coming in, even some debutants for Australia. What are we seeing these stocks rising and falling from as we head into the opener?
Well, we're all about the rise of the Australians, of course. So I'm going to say the rise of the stakes and the buy is definitely Marnus Labuschagne, if I'm correct.
Very close.
Was that close? I'm getting better. I've been listening to it on Google for the last 3 days just so I could nail that one. But I think it's obviously make or break time for Marnus in his career, getting dropped and now hitting some incredible form, probably the most in-form Australian batsman heading into this series, had been playing extremely well in the Sheffield Shield. So if he can just sort of settle in that first innings in Perth, I think we could see a massive series from him and be sort of that real settler and be back in the team and back in the Australian team for good. That he's got to obviously, I think, just get through that first innings is going to be extremely important for him, for his confidence as an international player and not just playing state cricket. The sell, look, I'm going to be Root gets the boot is the headline here. Been average, I think.
Joe.
He had a couple of big innings against South Africa, but otherwise he's been pretty average in 2025 for them. He's having a look here, like he had 161 against South Africa, but otherwise, look, he's really struggled to score even over 50 runs, even over 20 runs in his last few innings at bat in all the different forms of cricket. So I'm going to say he's going to struggle in the middle order for England and not be a problem for the pace attack of Australia.
Well, there you go. Ads for you. Brendan Doggett, you've spoke a bit about him already. 31-year-old guy coming, possibly. It hasn't been confirmed yet. He's in the 11, right? When do they name the 11?
Probably a day before. Usually it leaks out by some of the news, but I reckon he's pretty safe unless they do something left field and maybe play both Cam Green and Bo Webster. Because probably the slight concern is our batting depth after Carey at number 7. So you got sort of Stark's not batting as well. You got 3 pretty genuine tail enders in there. So, but I think you can almost lock him in. I reckon he's going to play. So, definitely buy him. Given that he's if it was like a Supercoach game, he'd be pretty cheap. Probably agree with Jez as well. Lay the boots into Root. He's average Joe. He's hasn't made a ton in Australia. I think he's averaging 12 in Perth. So. Get stuck into him. I don't want to be too biased, so I will mention one England player that I'm a bit fearful of, Mark Wood. So he actually bowled pretty well. He has played in Australia. He bowled pretty well the last Ashes series on Australian soil, and then he pretty much swung the momentum in the Ashes in England in 2023. Aussies were 2-0 up. He came into the side, bowled really well, and made some important runs as well. So if his fitness is a bit of a question mark, but he's one player I'm definitely a bit afraid of. So potentially buy him, but all in on the Aussies though. So I reckon, definitely Marnus, but Cam Green as well. He's yet to hit his peak. He's had the back injury, but they've nursed him back into it. Looked pretty good in the Shield game, managing his workloads. He can bat. He batted pretty well in the West Indies. It was a really, really low scoring series, that one, but he got through that pretty well. And I reckon he's pretty good gun bowler. Bowls 140, all rounder. Does it both with the bat and ball. So Cam Green's the one, I reckon. Yeah, he's on the rise. He's the one that I'm going to buy, and I'm going to sell Harry Brook. So his test average is amazing, 57, 58. I don't reckon he's going to maintain that. So Australian pitchers, I think, is going to test him out. He loves that sort of natural stroke play, but just with the pitches aren't as predictable over here, a bit more movement, he could come undone. It has happened to plenty of international players over the years. They're going to attack him. His preparation, he didn't really play that well in that lead up game. Australia will definitely have a plan for him second time around. Maybe a bit of mental pressure on him as well. He's been named as the vice captain, so and England are relying on him. So I reckon there's a bit of pressure on, and I reckon you might see some cracks. And definitely, expect that average 57 to drop down a bit from Harry Brook. I'm going to sell him.
All right, boys, going to take a quick break. I need to do a costume change because I want to send something to all the viewers in Oz to get to the ground and work up Joe Root.
You're not putting your tassels on again, Ryan, or what?
All right. Everybody needs to get their average Joes on to wind up Joe Root and the Poms in Perth.
Well played.
You got yours there as well, Jez, or what?
No.
No. Next time. Next episode.
Yeah.
All right, boys, let's move it on.
I make my missus wear that, so I feel a little bit more comfortable. It's a bed shirt.
Series results, standout players going to look at now. Dive into the series a little bit more. Last Ashes series, 2023 in England, Australia conceded 4.74 runs per over, boys. Never, ever previously gone for more than 4 per over in a test series. So some really big numbers coming out of that series. But since then, they've not been taken for more than 3.5 per over. So they obviously looked at that series and said, hey, we can't keep doing this and expect to win anything. Have brought it really back down to earth. And another one that I want to throw out there to kind of put in the back pocket, 40 years since a final test has been the decider in an Ashes series in Australia. The 82-83 series, it went to 5 games. So just quickly, do you think this one's going to go to 5, Ads?
I reckon it might be sewn up by then. I think the third test is going to be sort of the real pivotal one. If England are still in it after the third, then yes. But history says it's against them. I love going to the MCG Boxing Day, and it's pretty much it is always wrapped up by then, and it's 3-0 up. So concerned about what history says for England. They did win 3-1 back in 2010-11. It's been one-way traffic since then. So I reckon it'll be over by game 4, game 5, definitely.
Jez, to be able to get a fifth and deciding test, we need England to obviously win a game. And you've kind of hinted a little bit that this first game in Perth is probably their best chance.
Yeah, it is their best chance, obviously, because of the injuries, I think, to Australia. Like, if they want to be taken seriously this summer, I think they need to win that. They need to win that first test because no Cummins and no Hazelwood, you're not going to get a better opportunity to take advantage of the bowling attack of Australia. We've obviously have high hopes for the boys coming in to cover them, obviously with Doggett and Nessa potentially in there as well. So, excuse me. I think if they're going to do anything, it has to be done there. But I don't know. I don't see it. We're obviously extremely biased, but I don't see it. I hope for Adam's sake that one of the games gets rained out so he can see the series get wrapped up in the Boxing Day test in Melbourne. But I think otherwise, I don't see England winning a game, to be honest. I think we've got enough depth in, and I have a lot of faith, obviously, in Stark and Boland. Like, I don't think we've talked about them really at all. yeah, they're more than capable of leading the pace attack. And then obviously when you start bringing in Nathan Lyon as change of pace, he's obviously absolutely phenomenal in Australia. And even when the wicket feels like the wickets aren't turning, he can still find a way to be deceptive with the change of pace and do enough to allow the pace attack to be able to change things up. So and get their wickets. So yeah, I think we're good. And yeah, hopefully that just maybe, for Adam's sake, that there's a rain out in Adelaide, or probably likely in Brisbane. Usually it rains in the Sunshine State when there's good cricket on.
Yeah,
Adam,
Brisbane's the only. Sorry, you go, mate. You go.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, rain in those early tests. It's usually Sydney is the venue that's had the second most amount of days washed out. That's the fifth test. The first venue that has had the most is Manchester in England, which helped the Aussies in 2023. But yeah, then you've got the Gabba, and Brisbane can turn on a bit of a storm here and there. That's probably the only other chance. Not that I want it to happen, but of a washout. I think Perth and Adelaide are usually dry, but yeah, we'll monitor that Gabba test. Yeah, I think you're talking about Scotty Boland before, so that's a really interesting, lots of little subplots going on in this series. So in the last one in Australia, he took 6 or 7, absolutely destroyed them. But then they gave it to him, they took him on in England. So he was one of those bowlers that was really expensive, and he didn't really have a plan B. It'll be interesting to see if they attack him here or not. Really risky on the Australian pitches. But yeah, that sort of battle could sort of decide, if England get on top of Boland, that definitely sort of swings it in their favour. And there's lots of those little sort of, I think, little subplots going on. Smith and Stokes, the two captains, to start the series anyway. Stokes obviously a key player for England. So, yeah. Were you going to ask me something, Ryan?
I was going to say that the kind of notion of Australia having a kind of whitewash series, how common is it for teams to come to Australia in a test series and not pick up at least one win?
Yeah, last 3 England's 5-0, 4-0, 4-0. The 2 4-0s, there was one where England were gone. I think they were 9 down. It was a rain-affected test in Sydney, and they just hung on for a draw. And the other one was a draw in Melbourne where the pitch was dead. India was 3-1 last year. West Indies managed to break even 1-1. But yeah, usually there's not many 5-test series. It's usually just England and India. There's a lot of 3-test series. There's been quite a few, 3-0 whitewashes against sides like Pakistan, New Zealand. So, but yeah, generally in that range, they might pick up one winning test, but hasn't been a close series apart from some of those little 3-test series. Hasn't been a close one for a really long time. So does sort of tend to, as you get further and further into the series, the international sides get a bit tired, a bit fatigued, and yeah, it's sort of all over. So
on that point about fatigue, and if you look more closely to this first test in Perth, you've mentioned the weather, and we know that you get a beating under the Australian sun, especially in the Western State. If you're the two captains here and you win the toss, are you looking to get in and dig in the batting first, or you want to get out in the field and try and maybe take advantage of the conditions early so that you're putting the pressure on the opposition later in the match?
Yeah, that's something that's sort of changed in the last few years as well. It used to always be bat first, but England are one side that aren't afraid to mix it up and bowl first and try and take those early wickets. And then the pitch does flatten out sort of on day 2 and 3. But I think in Perth, try and get the runs on the board and almost bat your opposition out of the game early. So Brisbane could be the one where they might bowl first. It might be a bit more green up there, depending on the weather as well. If it's humid, which it usually is. So, but yeah, I'd lean towards. I think they both might bat, but haven't heard what the pitch is like. But yeah, I reckon bat first, I'd say.
Yeah. All right, boys. Final segment of today's show. We're going to talk about some Ashes venues, the best stadium to watch Ashes cricket. as I said at the top of the show, you boys have picked out some great Aussie venues. I'll let you have a bit of a chat first, and I'll throw my one into the ring. Jez, take us off, mate.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, for me, I think it's easy. One of the bucket lists is, well, for me at least, because I haven't done it yet, is to be obviously at a Boxing Day test at the MCG. Coming from Queensland, you don't get down there or get the opportunity so much at Christmas time to be away from your family. And I think that's certainly something that I would personally love to do. And it's obviously it is one of the epic things of Australian sport is if you're not lying on your couch hungover after Christmas watching the Boxing Day test, I think you want to be at the stadium and experiencing the atmosphere with all the Poms, especially if the series is still alive. So, but yeah, I think also being a little bit, but I think quite enjoyable would be extremely, I don't know, different in the test era to go to one of these day-night tests in Brisbane. I think it's something that is a little bit different to see what the atmosphere is all about. So, but hands down, MCG, Boxing Day, for sure.
And Adam, Perth Stadium, Optus Stadium, one of the newest stadiums in the country, really great facilities. The lighting and, well, I guess not massive during the day, but it's still quite good. The LCD stuff all around the ground, really kind of modern and top level. You've been around, you've seen a lot of cricket, you've seen a lot of sport in a lot of places. Where are you booking your ticket? If you could just see one more Ashes game for the rest of your life, where are you going?
Yeah, it's a tough question. I'd love to go to all the grounds. I've never been to Perth Stadium. I've been to Adelaide Oval and the Gabba. Gabba was for an AFL match, and Adelaide Oval was for Big Bash. SCG as well for AFL. The Gabba doesn't really get spoken of that highly compared to some of the other grounds. I really enjoyed it. It was a good game to go to, good atmosphere. Adelaide Oval gets talked up massively. The Big Bash games that I've been to haven't really sort of delivered. They haven't been close and it's sort of a bit quiet. And I'd love to go to the SCG as well. If I had to pick one, I'd probably lean to the Adelaide Oval. They missed out on the pink ball test this year, but just hearing what your mates say and stuff that you read, it's like a picturesque, beautiful venue to watch the game, and they've got that old scoreboard and the grass you can sort of stand on near that, and old mate, blokes getting sort of loose left, right, and centre. I reckon that's my natural habitat. I'd sort of love to, I'd love to be there one day. That'd be the one I'd have to pick out, I reckon. So, I'll go, Adelaide.
Love it.
SCG, I wouldn't mind going there either. Concerned with the weather, but imagine that if the Ashes was still going in that fifth test, that would be going off as well. But yeah, Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, I think it is a little bit like the MCG and Boxing Day, like the event of that type of game there. Obviously, the first test, wherever that's played, is going to be an amazing thing. But if you could get a competitive game 5 with a series on the line, like that'd be just unreal atmosphere in there because you think it'd be packed.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think we've all sort of underestimated how much energy is in that first ball of a 5-day series. You're like, the first ball means nothing, but the first ball means everything. And you've seen some sort of epic moments from the first ball. When we were doing our last pod with the fixture results, and Fremantle Dockers pulled out some Ashes moments, and obviously the first one is that the epic first ball was it Mitchell Starc getting of the Ashes series the last time it was in Australia, wasn't it, where he bowls out outside leg and it swings in, and you're just like. Yeah. Huge. Like that moment, to see that moment would be phenomenal. Yeah. You remember that forever.
Yeah. I might just stipulate too, I said the Adelaide Oval, but I am passionate Victorian. MCG is 100% my favourite. Got Wardy up there as well. Saw him take his 700th and he had his hat-trick. There's been so many great moments. I think that is the ground that sort of captures what the Ashes is all about. England have actually had a couple of famous wins there. Barmy Army go off, and just the noise that echoes around the stadium when it's full. The World Cup final 10 years ago, I think Stark got McCullum out in the first over, and it was just amazing. So just the noise and waking up Boxing Day, like you're a little bit sad that Christmas is all over. Then you're like, hang on, got Boxing Day, and I usually get in there, and just the vibe walking into the ground, and it's awesome MCG. So, but wouldn't mind going to Adelaide as well.
I'm going to edit this out of the episode, so everyone's going to think you're a staunch Adelaide supporter. But boys, the home of cricket, Lords, is that not a place that would rank high up on the list of watching an Ashes game? It's, the MCC, the sloping outfield. You almost feel like you're half drunk already when you walk in the place because you're leaning. Like, must have some sentimental value, right, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to tick that off the box and say you've gone to, that is considered the home of cricket. The tradition. I might stay away from the long room after if the Aussies have had a bit of an incident on the field. They got stuck into the boys last time. But yeah, that'd be awesome to go to Lords. I wouldn't mind trying some of the grounds that are a little bit further out as well. Headingley, that was going off when 2019 Stokes had that innings, so they seem to get right into it. Wouldn't mind experiencing some of that as well, but hard to choose from. Probably Lords first, and then maybe some of those obscure grounds a bit further out.
Boys, as long as we're winning, I'm not going there if we're losing. Make sure they win. Make sure they have a good day the day you go. The day you go to Lords in Aussie colours, I think. Otherwise, you cop an absolute hiding.
Hiding. Sure. All right, let's wrap this baby up. A fantastic Ashes preview. The game's right around the corner. You're going to see the game match previews, series previews on bets.com.au, written by the three of us at some stage over the next couple of months. They'll all be there. And Big Bash coming up as well, boys. We'll be covering every single game of the tournament. Some fantastic matchups coming, and especially over that Christmas period. You're going to have the Boxing Day test as well. Big Bash on Boxing Day Eve. So much going on in the world of sport. Bets.com.au has you covered with some fantastic free game previews, the best odds for Australian bookmakers. You get it there. Lads, Jez, thanks for today. Wrap us up, send us home.
Yeah, thank you. And to everybody out there, make sure you want to stay ahead of the summer of cricket, then hang with us and stay ahead of the game.